Hello students, today we'll be starting with chapter number 4 of your syllabus, that is measurements. Weightage of the chapter according to GTU syllabus is 17%, and this will be the last chapter we'll be covering till our MSc 2. This is a chapter which is divided into 7 subtopics. Each and every subtopic is completely new, and there is no the subtopics are not interrelated, right? So each and every topic can be assumed as a very small chapter. So we'll be starting with the first one. Now, the first one itself says the topic number 1 of the chapter is 4-probe method. Before I start with 4-probe method, we should discuss with the quantity that is measured using 4-probe method. This is a term which is completely new to you. Being being into engineering, and that too electronics and communication engineering, you all will be using semiconductors in great detail. In each and every field, semiconductors are used if you talk about electronics. And sheet resistance is one of the most important properties related to semiconductor devices. Now, sheet resistance, it is commonly known as surface resistance or surface resistivity. It is a common electrical property which is used to characterize thin films of conducting and semiconducting materials. So it is basically a property related to conductors and semiconductors, and specifically thin films of semiconductors. So what exactly sheet resistance is? It is a measure of lateral resistance through a thin square of a material. Just assume a thin strip of a material. So the lengthwise resistance through a thin square, that means resistance between opposite sides of a square, will be actually related to sheet resistance. Now, why exactly this quantity is important? This is actually independent of the size of square, and you can compare different samples. You can compare, suppose you have 3-4 different sheets of different materials. You can compare the sheet resistance of them of all 4 easily. Plus, it is a quantity which is measured, as I said, using 4-probe method. What is the application of sheet resistance? It is a critical property for any thin film. Again, I am using the word thin film. The word thin film here means the width and length can be more, but thickness has to be very small. Basically, if you consider thin film, it will be considered as a two-dimensional entity. Two-dimensional entity means, suppose you have length and width in, say, millimeters, the thickness would be in micrometers, very small compared to the other two dimensions. So though it is a three-dimensional structure, we will be considering only two-dimensional entity because of very small thickness. So sheet resistance is a critical property for any thin film of material in which electrical charges are intended to travel rather than pass through. So we'll be considering the basic example. Suppose you consider this as an LED. LED is a PN junction only, which has an anode and which has a cathode. So for an example, thin film devices like solar cell organic LEDs require conducting electrodes that generally have thickness in nanometers, because the electrodes are the parts which are actually used in circuits. Suppose you consider the design of an LED, the anode and cathode, the extended portion, that is the legs of the LED, are nothing but the electrodes. So they require conducting electrodes that generally have thickness in nanometers. So suppose we consider this as an LED. The diagram of this thin film LED showing the current flowing here. The current flows from positive to negative. Like this, you will be having the current flow. In the above figure, the above figure shows charges that are moving within the LED from anode to cathode. The electrodes must transport electrical charge laterally and need low sheet resistance to reduce the losses during the process. Now, if current is flowing like this, if the electrode resistance is very high, right, the current value is going to drop. So electrodes which are used to transport the electrical charge, they should have a very low value of resistance, which in turn will give you higher current and which in turn will reduce the losses during the process. Now this becomes more important when we design very small components or nano components that are used in different parts of electronic circuits. So actually we can say that sheet resistance is the value of resistance which is very very small compared to the normal bulk resistance. It has a very small value, and that is the reason highly accurate value is need to be measured. Resistivity and conductivity can be calculated if sheet resistance and material thickness are known. Materials are electrically characterized by measuring sheet resistance. If you measure sheet resistance, you can come to know what is the resistivity, and if resistivity is calculated, conductivity can also be calculated using the above value. The property of sheet resistance is useful and critical in creation of high efficiency devices where specifically low resistance materials are needed. Specifically used in the design of solar cells, LEDs, and other semiconductor devices. It is applicable to two-dimensional systems in which the thin films are considered to be two-dimensional entities. As I just explained, why two-dimensional entities? Because we consider thickness very, very small compared to the other two dimensions. Now, how do we calculate or how do we find out sheet resistance? Sheet resistance of a metal film is often expressed in the unit ohms per square. I'll explain how. Now we know that bulk resistance is defined as, you know, the relation between resistance and resistivity length area as R is equals to rho L by A. We can write this value area as width into thickness. So I will be having the formula as R is equals to rho L upon W into T, where rho is known as the bulk resistivity of resistor, unit of resistivity is ohm meter, L is known as length of resistor, W is known as width of resistor, and T is known as thickness of resistor. In this above equation, we can use the quantity. Now, if I consider L upon W, unit of L is in meter, unit of W is in meter. So L upon W, the quantity, is a unitless quantity, but this quantity can be considered as a measure of how many squares of area a conductor or a resistor has. Say for example, a thin film resistor having a length 30 mm and having a width 10 mm is 3 squares. That means one square of 10 by 10, the other of 10 by 10, the other of 10 by 10. So width remains 10 only. Length is 10 plus 10 plus 10, that is 30. We consider one more small resistor which has a length of 3 micrometers and width of 1 micrometer. It also has 3 squares. If they both have same thickness and bulk resistivity, thickness will, suppose we say both of them have same in micrometers only. Suppose they have same thickness and bulk resistivity, they both have same values in ohms, but the power ratings will differ. Because the overall dimension, because if the overall area is less in this case, it will dissipate more power. But they will differ in power ratings. The smaller resistor will have a higher power, a higher usable frequency response. Smaller the area, higher power dissipation, right? Because per unit area we consider power. So in both the resistors, we have considered them as 3 squares only, but the one with the lower value will have a higher power dissipation rating. Sheet resistance is equal to the bulk resistivity divided by thickness. The above equation, we defined L by W as a unitless quantity. We just separate L by W. The other term remained in this above equation is, if L upon W is separated, we have rho by T. So we can write R as rho upon T into L upon W, and this quantity rho upon T is denoted as RS, which is known as sheet resistance. So we can define sheet resistance as the bulk resistivity divided by thickness. So if you find out sheet resistance and if the thickness is known, we can calculate the bulk resistivity as RS into T. So once the sheet resistance is measured and if the thickness is known, bulk resistivity can be calculated. What is a unit of sheet resistance? The unit of sheet resistance is defined as ohms per square. How many resistance? What is the value of resistance per square? Why do we denote the term per square? This actually relates the quantity L upon W. as I had just given you an example above, that we've considered a resistor in the form of three different squares. So in short, we can say that sheet resistance Rs is equals to bulk resistivity upon thickness, and the unit is ohm per square. The symbol square denotes the quantity L upon W. Because it is a unitless quantity, we define it as square. Now, how is sheet resistance measured? Sheet resistance is commonly measured using four-probe method. Before we start the topic four-probe method, let us first discuss what is the difference between a two-probe or a two-probe and a four-probe method. Probe can be called as cables. Now, two-probe method, you all have been generally using two-probe method. You all have used a multimeter. And if you remember, a multimeter uses two different cables. One is the red, that is the plus VCC connection, and the black one, that is the ground. So two-probe device, say a multimeter, a common example, it measures the resistance of a device in the following way. You all have measured a resistance value using multimeter. You might have done it. So you take a resistor and you connect both the cables of multimeter. You set it according to the proper range of resistance, and you can see that in the display you get the value of resistance. That is the general method. But let us just see what exactly or how exactly is this measurement done. So this method provides a small amount of voltage to the resistor via the contact probes of multimeter, and it records the current flowing across the two contact points, thereby giving the resistance value. Prima facie, there isn't anything wrong in this method of measurement, but there is one flaw, there is one defect in this method. The same two contact probes are being used for providing the test voltage, that is, it functions as the source connection, as well as for recording the current flowing due to the supplied voltage. The same two probes are used, so it functions as the sense connection also. Let me be very clear in what I just explained. Suppose you consider this as a multimeter. We have two different probes connected. So these two probes, the probe shown by red and the probe shown by black color, assume that this is a resistor. You connect these two probes to the resistor. How will this resistance value display on this multimeter? Now this multimeter, the device itself, will give voltage to power the resistor. So the voltage being supplied to the resistor is through the multimeter itself, and same two probes. So suppose I say this is the voltage being supplied to the resistor and it is like this. So we get source as the circuit is complete. How will it measure? Whatever is the value of resistance will come like this back. So these two probes are used as source also, and these two probes are used as the measuring or the sensing probes also. So what happens in this case? Due to this, the internal resistance, because it is supplying the voltage like this, like this. So if you consider the complete circuit, what has happened? Along with this resistance, the internal resistance of this multimeter has also been added. Due to this, the internal resistance of the multimeter gets added to the actual displayed value, which gives slight inaccuracy. This inaccuracy is negligible for most applications which use higher powers of resistance. But if you are measuring sheet resistance, which itself is a very, very small quantity, through this, then you will be getting a wrong value. This deviation may spoil the result while designing a semiconductor device because we deal with low resistance values. The difference between the types of measurement that a four-probe method does and a two-probe method does is, in a four-probe method, the outer two leads serve as source connections responsible for providing test voltage, and the inner two probes serve as sense connections responsible for recording the current flowing through the device. Let me explain you how. Like in case of multimeter, only two probes will supply the current also and will measure the voltage, will supply the voltage also and will measure the current also, giving you the value of resistance. But in case of four probe method, there are two separate probes for supplying current and two separate probes for measuring voltage. What happens in this case is, because see, the internal resistance of none of the meters is added because the separate meter is connected to probe number 1 and 4, and the separate meter measuring the voltage is connected between 2 and 3. So current is not flowing between contact 2 and 3. So the resistance is not being added. The resistance of this voltmeter is not being added here. So that is the reason the internal resistance isn't added, and what value you get is very, very accurate. So next video, I will be discussing 4-probe method in detail. 4-probe method has 2 cases. Both the cases will be covered in the next video. Hope the topic was clear. Thank you.